Stop right there, you filthy black woman. What did you steal? The words sliced through the summer heat like a blade. Officer Derek Shaw barreled out of the patrol car, partner Kevin Miller a step behind. Their eyes locked on a woman in a sharp, light gray suit, walking calmly down Peachtree Street. They didn't care who she was. They assumed they already knew. Before Eleanor Vance could register the threat, Miller had grabbed her, shoving her against the burning hood of the cruiser. "Think you can walk around like you're somebody?" he hissed. "I'm just walking. That's not illegal." "Oh, she thinks she's smart." Miller laughed bitterly. "Look, Derek, another mouthy college bitch." Shaw joined him, pushing Eleanor harder into the car. "What did you steal, huh? Don't lie. You people always lie." "You people?" Eleanor asked calmly. Her voice clipped. Her words made Shaw's eyes narrow. "Don't play innocent." Without a word of warning, he tore her purse open, rummaging through her belongings. "You can't search my bag without a warrant," she protested. "Wrong move. You don't give orders." Shaw snapped, grabbing her by the lapel and jerking her around. "This isn't your courtroom. This is real life." Miller leaned close, voice low and full of venom. "You act calm, but you're nothing. Just another nobody." "I know my rights," she said through clenched teeth. "Your rights?" Miller chuckled. "People like you don't have rights unless we say so." From the sidewalk, a small crowd gathered. Phones appeared. Cameras rolled. A young woman in scrubs whispered. She didn't do anything. Eleanor looked around. No panic. No begging. Just control. "You gonna cry?" Shaw mocked. "No," she answered steady. "But you might." That rattled him. Shaw grabbed her arm, twisted the cuffs tighter, and shoved her on the ground. Her knee hit the pavement with a sickening crunch. "Now that hurt, didn't it?" Miller smirked. Still, she didn't scream. She just looked up, blood trickling down her leg, voice low and measured. "You should be ashamed. Not for what you're doing to me, but for who you're becoming." The words unsettled them more than her silence. Shaw's jaw clenched. "She's not even crying," Miller said, eyes darting toward the bystanders. "What? You in a gang or something?" "She's waiting for her backup," Shaw said sarcastically. But that backup was coming, and not the kind they expected. A voice crackled on Shaw's radio. "Unit 84, current location. Suspicious arrest reported. Confirm. Black female in custody, gray suit, braided hair. High profile." "Repeat. High profile." Both officers froze. Miller went pale. "What the hell?" he whispered. Eleanor, still kneeling, smiled faintly. "You're going to want to uncuff me before that call goes out again. In front of cameras." Shaw's hands trembled. Miller glanced around. More people were filming now. An older woman whispered a prayer. A man in a tailored suit had his phone to his ear, eyes wide in recognition. Then came the second radio message, more urgent. "Do not proceed further. Individual in custody is confirmed to be of interest to federal operations. Stand by for contact." "Shit," Shaw muttered, stepping back. Eleanor rose, slowly without help. Blood ran down her shin, but she stood tall. Dignity wrapped around her like armor. "You really don't know who I am, do you?" she asked quietly. Miller fumbled with the handcuff key, hands shaking, then a screech of tires. A black SUV with government plates halted across the street. The doors flew open. Two men in dark suits with FBI in bold yellow lettering emerged, followed by a third, bald, commanding, with an earpiece and a face carved from stone. "Unit 84, stand down immediately," one agent shouted, flashing a badge. "Release the detainee." The officers froze. A beat passed. Then Miller stammered, "We didn't know. She didn't say who she was." Eleanor's voice cut clean through the tension. "Didn't need to. But you're about to learn." More phones came out. The crowd was no longer whispering. Someone muttered, "That's her from the courthouse." As the FBI agent stepped closer, he glared at both officers. "Do you realize what you've done?" Shaw didn't answer. Miller had gone pale, sweat beading at his brow. The bald man finally spoke. "You assaulted a federal judge." Their mouths fell open. Eleanor turned slowly, blood staining her pants, expression unreadable, and the moment the words landed, "federal judge," the world around them shifted. Because now, It wasn't just about two racist cops. It was about what came next. The bald federal agent crouched near Eleanor without touching her, but with the kind of respect usually shown to a Supreme Court justice. "Are you all right, Your Honor?" he asked quietly. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The officers stiffened. Shaw took a step back. Miller's jaw dropped. Eleanor, blood still running down her leg and wrist still bound, didn't flinch. She looked directly at the two officers and said, "I'm fine, but I want these two handcuffed. Now." The agent stood and turned toward them. "You've just assaulted federal Judge Eleanor Vance of the Eastern District of Georgia. Multiple witnesses, multiple recordings, and a federal order authorizing their collection. You're going to need lawyers. Expensive ones. She never told us she was a judge." Miller protested. A woman in the crowd yelled. "She told you to stop. Told you not to search her. I've got on video, and we're live." Shaw dropped the cuffs. He was breathing hard now, pale and silent. Eleanor rose with help, brushing off her jacket with the quiet poise of someone used to walking through fire and emerging whole. She glanced once at the men who had mocked and manhandled her. "You don't understand what you've done," she said. "But you will." The applause that followed was soft but building. The officers watched helplessly as everything collapsed around them. The courtroom was packed, silent, and cold. The officers, now in plain clothes and handcuffed, stood beside their attorneys. The special prosecutor, a black man with a solemn tone and a folder full of evidence, stepped forward. "Your Honor, this isn't just about excessive force. This is about two officers who humiliated a black woman in broad daylight, without provocation, and without knowing she had sworn to uphold the very laws they broke." He displayed a photo on the screen, Eleanor Vance on her knees, handcuffed, her leg bleeding. The courtroom held its breath. No warrant, no threat, just raw hatred. They acted on it with violence. And we heard their words, recorded, repeated, unmistakable. The defense tried to object. The judge shut them down instantly. Then the side door opened. Eleanor entered, this time in her black judicial robe. The entire courtroom rose except for the defendants, who could barely look at her. She took the witness stand. "My name is Eleanor Vance. I have served as a federal judge for 9 years. I was walking home after speaking to young black girls about chasing their dreams. That's when I was stopped." Her voice didn't tremble. "They called me filthy, a prostitute. They threw me to the ground, not because I was dangerous, but because I didn't look like someone who mattered." She paused. "But I didn't need to be a judge to deserve dignity. I only needed to be human." One officer sobbed. The other kept his eyes fixed to the floor. "I'm not here for revenge," she said. "I'm here because this wasn't an isolated mistake. It's a pattern. This is who they are when they think no one's watching. But we watched. Now this court watches." The judge leaned forward. "This case is about truth, and the truth will not be ignored here." The jury returned after 2 hours. Eleanor stood at the back of the courtroom, her presence powerful but composed. "Has the jury reached a verdict?" the judge asked. "Yes, Your Honor," the jury forewoman replied, handing the envelope to the bench. The judge opened it and read silently before speaking. "In the matter of Derek Shaw and Kevin Miller, on all counts of aggravated assault, police misconduct, and racial bias, how does the jury find?" The forewoman's eyes locked on the officers. "Guilty on all counts." Gasps filled the room. Some cried. Others whispered, stunned. The defendants slumped. The judge delivered the final blow. "This court acknowledges the deeper wound exposed today. But justice begins with accountability. You are hereby remanded to federal custody. Sentencing will be scheduled within 30 days." Eleanor stood as they were led away. The same men who had thrown her to the pavement now walked out in chains. She didn't look back. Outside, clouds loomed, but Eleanor walked steadily forward, because this was never just her fight. That it was a warning and a promise. Never again.